Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday. Today's the day I go back to work after being gone for a week. Excuse me if I'm rubbing my eyes. It's not just I've been up for a good half hour, but for some reason this morning my eyes want to be annoying. Just to say the least. It's allergy season, so it's what I have to deal with on a regular basis. It's like I take the glasses off, things are blurry. I put the glasses on, things are blurry. Yeah, it's gonna be one of those fun days. I just hope everything straightens out before I go to work. I am going to forewarn you all. Today is going to be one of those days where, it's a combination of dealing with some things that came across my channel last night or over the last 24 hours. Oh, my left leg is not being fun today. Um, so there will be a lot of stuff going through. I did have a vlogger, or do I call you a vlogger, or do I just call you a subscriber? Well, a subscriber. I was telling everybody yesterday about my heel on my left foot hurting. She suggested Epsom salt, which I have to look to see if I have, because I don't think I do have any, but that is a good idea. But this morning I woke up hurting. My left knee is my left knee is hurting. My right knee is hurting. Basically, I would call it arthritis because it's in the joint. As for my heel, I don't know if it's a pulled muscle, a bone thing, or what. But I'm used to dealing with physical pain on a daily basis. But that's just part of life. I'm going to apologize right now because I'm going to eat something in front of y'all. I got two little, they call them snack cake loaves. They're little mini bread loaves. I'll show you the heel of this one. But you can see that they're not that big. I mean, but this one I got because it's basically called an espresso cake loaf. I have a banana nut one. I know what their banana nut one tastes like from Amish country. I love it. I figured I'd just give this a bit of a sample. Excuse me. Okay. Interesting. It has definitely a coffee taste to it, but it has mini chocolate chips in there as well. So, yeah, not bad. I'd definitely go back and get it when I can. Um, oh, I think I'm cold. My joints are hurting. It's got to be cold in this house. We normally try to keep the temperature during the summertime for when we sleep around 68, which is where we keep the temperature at its highest point during the wintertime for heat. I woke up this morning, turned it up because, we're all awake. But, man, my knees, they're really hurting this morning. My knees and my hip. Anyhow, I woke up this morning, and I didn't get to see a lot of my comments from yesterday's video, even though yesterday's video was pretty long. I didn't expect anybody to basically, sorry if I eat in front of y'all. I didn't expect a lot of comments, but there was one particular person, and I'm not going to name names. I don't name names. Her comment was, well, it's her comment. I'm not going to deny her the right to reply or make comments to my video, but I also would like that you guys respect the fact that my comments and what I have to say are mine. I don't have a generalized political view. My wife has tried to basically put me in a category of sorts. Um, I'm just going to put it this way. I don't usually talk a lot about politics unless something is said or done that really, really pushes my buttons. And that was basically yesterday. Something that was said and done by our president pushed my buttons. And I just kind of went, I am, I'm somewhat like my dad. My dad had a simple view about politicians, and when I mean politicians, I'm talking about all politicians. Everybody from the president down to the various offices, political parties. Um, he didn't talk much about politics, but the one thing he did say about politicians in general was you can take every single one of them, dump them on a desert island, and whatever group or person survived the 30 days of being alone with just each other on that island deserves to be looked at. Um, I'm a little bit different. My view would be take all the politicians, dump them on an island, and give them one canoe. And whatever one could outwit, outbattle, or outdo the others to get onto that canoe and row it back to mainland America, okay, we've got a good one. You know, his other thing was, as far as I'm concerned, you could take the politicians and toss them. Yeah, it might not be a great view. I do look at the various groups, the various politicians and whatnot. There are a couple of them out there that are trying to do good for the nation, but for the most part, they're trying to do good for themselves and the one percenters. I have not seen very many politicians who would literally bend over backwards to help the American people before themselves. So I know a lot of people sit there and go, "Well, Donald Trump has done this, done this, done this, done that." Well, for all the good that Donald Trump might have done, all the bad things he's done is overshadowing. Um, but that's my opinion. Your opinion is good too. You can have your opinion all you want, but um, don't try to tell me to do my research because one, I've already done my research. I don't talk very much about something I haven't done research on. Now, my research in the areas I do my research might be different than yours, so you have a different view through your research. That's fine and dandy. Um, I go back to work today. Now, part of me is like, oh, work. I have to go back to a place that I just don't feel useful or feel that I'm looked at with any kind of usefulness. But then I also go, you know what? I don't care how they view me. I go in there, I put my best foot forward, I do my job, I go home. If my job's not good enough for them, well, maybe because they're just looking for things to nitpick about. That's fine, Danny. I'm not worried about it no more. I do what I have to do, and that's it. I'm not trying to please everybody. In fact, the only person or persons I have to please in this world is my wife and God. And everybody else can go squat. I don't mean that in a personal attack, but that's just the fact that I am nearing 49 years old. I have done so much and been to so many places and dealt with so many different things that I've gotten to the point in my life where it's just like, I know I can't please everybody, so I'm only going to worry about those that I need to please. That's so good. I'm gonna continue to apologize for doing stuff like that in front of you guys because it's rude. But it's a combination of I haven't eaten yet, and my stomach is basically being rude. So if you're wanting to know, it's Irish breakfast coffee by Celestial Seasonings and a Amish pound cake, an Amish espresso cake, basically, or bread, however you want to put it. We got so many good things in the Amish country, food wise. I mean, we got our bricks of cheese, we got our meats, we got some fresh made pastries. Well, not really pastries. We got a loaf. We got a what looks like the size of a French bread, big long fat loaf of sourdough. We got two loaves of cinnamon raisin swirl bread, which we took one loaf, froze it, and the other loaf we made into French toast last night. And it it's I don't know if anybody's ever had or eaten a slice of fresh made raisin bread turned into French toast. Because every time you bite into one of those raisins, you can tell that the bread itself is not filled with preservatives because that raisin has that sweet bitter flavoring that a raisin is supposed to have. That's not preserved. It's a fresh made, homemade, sun dried raisin. It's not been coated with sugar or ran through a machine to super dry it or anything like that. It's just like one of those amazing things to just, you're biting, you can tell just by the flavor of the raisin, of the freshness when you bite into it. And it's like, there's no description I can come up with to describe this. It's just like, I don't want to sit there and say it's a piece of heaven that you're biting into, but it's just like the most amazing sensation happening in your mouth between all the flavors from the bread plus the flavoring from the cinnamon vanilla egg combination for French toast. It's just like, oh my word, where has this been all my life? That's how I feel a lot of times when I pick up and eat something from Amish country. It's just like you can taste the baker's heart and soul being poured into this loaf of bread, because it's like well, I know there's three different groups that have to do with what they call the Amish people. There's Amish, there's the Mennonite, and my cousin told me a third group, but I can't remember the name. But the Amish are the ones who are old, I mean literally old school. In their homes, there's no electricity, no electronics, no computers, no TVs, no nothing. They get their news via word of mouth or a printed piece of paper. And 9 times out of 10, they don't worry about what they call the English world, our world, the outside world. Now, the Mennonites, they're just a step above the Amish because they do have cell phones and electricity, but they limit their usage of the electricity. They limit their usage of a cell phone. They limit their usage of a vehicle. They're not totally English, but they're at least, I don't want to say evolved enough or educated enough to use modern day tech, but they try to limit themselves. So, and I don't know nothing about the third group, so I'm not going to say anything about them because I don't know. But food from the Amish country is just like, you can literally see and feel and taste the homemade aspects of the product they're making. And yeah, the products might be a little pricey. Like, Jane got this little wooden shot glass from Amish country, which she wanted me to have. She got it for me. And, you see that it says Amish country, Ohio. And even though it's got like this, like nice glazing on the outside, the burnishing on the I don't know if you can see it how it shines, but if you look on the inside, there's no shine or glaze in there, and you can feel the grit of the wood, and you can feel how like on the inside on the very bottom there's like a little I guess the best way to describe it is nub, where it might have been where the lathing or the tool working or whatever they used to burr out or hollow out the chunk of wood. But then I'm gonna flip it over, and you're probably gonna be like, "Oh my God, that's a little pricey." $4.49 for this nice little handmade shot glass. And I'll tell you what, for the craftsmanship and what they do to put into the work, I'd pay that price and then some for something so so small yet so nice. But I loved my trip to Amish country. I love the well, we got there Friday night. We went directly to my aunt and uncle's house, and I wish I took pictures and videos of that little log cabin. I went down in the basement to see the work they did to fix the wall and whatnot down there, and yeah, they did some good stuff. Um, but we got there Friday night, and we had a little bite to eat and visited for a couple of 3-4 hours. Let's see, we got there a little bit after 7, and I think we went to our hotel rooms a little bit after 10. Was it 10 or 11? I can't remember. But we got to see, I don't know yeah, we got to see my cousin and his 3 kids, my second cousins. And um, Saturday was Sydney's graduation. Sydney is my cousin Philip's daughter, so she's my second cousin. She's got her life. I mean, she works like 2 to 3 jobs. She's earning money. Excuse me, my ear is like starting to really bug the crap out of me. Sorry. She's got herself together. She got 2 jobs right now. She's got a car. She's already accepted into Ohio State. She's going up. I can't remember if she said she was going up next week or sometime in the middle of July to see her dorm room, get started with all the different programs, get herself basically set up. She's already met her roommate. Her roommate gave her like laundry supplies for the dorm. You know, she's come a long way from the little spunky sprite that she was when I first saw her. Of course, when I first saw her, she was like 3. No, she had to be older than that. I don't remember, but she was still a youngin'. You know, her sister, which is the middle child, she's still in high school, and the youngest, I think, just started high school last spring. So I'm gonna give you a little story. When when all my cousins from my mom's side of the family were alive, it was 5 of us. My cousin. I'm creating new words there. My my oldest cousin Michelle was 2 years, yeah, about 2 years older than I was. She was born in '69. Then my second oldest cousin Janet was born in '70. I was born in '71. Then my one younger cousin Joel was born in '72, and then Philip was born um, early '70, late '72, early '71. I don't know, '73. I went the wrong way. So I was the middle out of the 5 cousins. Now, Michelle had two kids, and she's no longer with us because of cancer. Um, so basically, Michelle and Philip had kids. Janet hasn't had kids. I haven't had kids. And Joel, I don't know if they don't want kids or they're happy with their, as they call them, fur babies. Um, so out of the five of us, the oldest and youngest have had kids, um, which no big deal. I mean, Michelle's two kids. Skylar is, I think, around Sydney's age. I don't know, maybe a little bit younger. I'm not positive. But Skylar he's a hard worker, just like his mom was. Kind, loving, just like his mom was. Um, and then he has a younger sister, Katie. Now, Katie has some medical problems. So she had a whole lot. Poor kid had a whole lot of medical issues, swallowing, eating, a lot of different things. I hate to use the word because it's become a bad word between me and my wife, but she has no. I'll use the proper terminology. She has physical and mental handicaps. Her physical handicaps are not as apparent as the mental ones, but she's such a trip. I didn't get to see her this trip because stepmom, who I don't know the full story, but nobody seems to like her, did not want Katie to go out in public to go to Sydney's graduation party because of the whole COVID situation, which I can kind of understand because she has trouble with the masks, so she doesn't like wearing them. She'll take them off, things like that. So, but I was told by Skylar that she's doing fine. She's not having as many medical issues as she does with her mental issues, which I'm happy for. I'm glad she's doing well. Um, so the funny thing is, Michelle had two kids. Philip had three kids. That's five kids total. That equals to the amount of cousins there were when we were growing up. Um, which I kind of think is funny. It's kind of like maybe that's why things haven't worked out the way they have. That's fine. I'm not like I'm not against having kids. I would love to have kids, but maybe there's a different plan for us. Maybe I'll be like my Uncle Warner. My Uncle Warner was a hoot. He had this little trick where when you came up to him and he offered his hand in a handshake, he would have a dollar bill or something tucked in his hand. So when he pulled away, you would find a dollar bill or a $5 bill in your hand. I'm not that rich because he came from old country, old family that had money. But granted, all my cousins' kids are now in their teens. Well, Chase is 14, so Katie has to be at least 13. Maybe she's up there. So, but still, I mean, it's fun to go watch. It's fun to go see family. Um, so if you haven't noticed, I had a great vacation. I enjoyed. Ooh, okay. I enjoyed the visit with the family. I enjoyed going to Amish country. I enjoyed having interaction with my family and whatnot. Granted, I'm not a like we said on the live stream last night. I've fallen out of playing games. I don't know why. Um, the last time I played games was when we went to Texas to visit our friends down there, and I got to play one or two times. I'll take that back. Once, got to play a good 2-3 hour session of Dungeons and Dragons, which I was the oldest person there, but I knew it from the days of yore. And I think my thing is if the game is not mentally challenging lately, I'm if it's not action packed or mentally challenged, I'm not interested. The whole 5 second thing where they had a game called 5 second rule, and they gave you a category like name or not name, yeah, yeah, let's name. Um, Name as many makes of or not makes model not models. Name as many cars as you can, and you're supposed to rattle out how many cars you can, as many cars as possible within 5 seconds. Now, I sat back and I was half listening, half reading. Um, and I don't know how many times I was able to rattle. I mean, they were like, "I can't figure it out, can't figure it out," and I'm sitting there and I start rattling off a bunch of names. Um, there was what was one? Um, oh, cities in Europe, and they can only I forgot whose turn it was or who's yeah, and they couldn't name. They could barely name two: Paris and London. Everybody knows Paris and London, but I was like, I started rattling off obscure names: Dublin. Um, Geez, now I can't even do it now. Dublin, Cork, Hamburg, Wiesbaden. I just started naming off different city names that I knew from studying various maps. It was things like that. And my wife was like, "Well, why aren't you playing this game?" And I'm like, "Well, I really don't know if I want to play. I mean, I was not in the mood for playing games. I wanted to either visit or I wanted to go out and see things. I didn't want to play games. Um, I don't know. I get weird. Sorry. I get weird sometimes. But it was the last day that we were there. Monday, basically. Was it Monday? Yeah, Monday. We had originally planned to leave out of there Monday evening after going to see Amish country. But then we decided, you know what? Why don't we just, since I have 2 more days off, why don't we just stay an extra day? It costs us, $100 or so to stay an extra day. So we spent a good 4+ hours in Amish country because we were like, well, if we leave Amish country and go straight onto the road to go home by 2 p.m., 4 o'clock at the latest, we'll go get home, midnight thereabouts. So we decided, you know what, let's just stay the extra night. So we did the Amish country, got all our goodies and whatnot. Followed Uncle Dave through back roads and whatnot as best as we could. And then after the end of the day, we headed straight back to Creston to drop off the kids, Sydney and Chase. Riley decided to flake out at the last minute. Surprising. But the whole driving and whatnot through Amish country, Sydney was sitting in the front seat. I sat in the middle, and young Mr. Chase sat in the back seat, which we had basically set it up where we thought we were going to have Riley and Chase and Sydney. So we had set it up to have enough room for everybody. We ended up having extra space. But the whole time Jerry Ann was driving, Jerry Ann and Sydney were talking about things back and forth, and I wasn't really drifting in and out of sleep. It was more like drifting in and out of watching the countryside drive by and just being in my own mind space, so to speak. But we were hoping, or we're hoping, because we invited Riley and Sydney to come out here for Joanne's birthday, but they don't know if they're going to be able to make it because of Sydney with school and Riley with her jobs. Because Riley is also working 2 to 3 jobs. I mean, Chase is too young to work a job. Riley is young, just on that cusp of being too young or old enough to work. So she has um, small, easy jobs. Sydney works. She works a couple days at a hair salon, a couple days at a pizzeria, and I forgot what she said the third one was. But the third one is not reliable because it's like either babysitting or something along those lines. But I love them to death because they followed their dad. Their dad was a hard worker. Their dad, Philip, ever since he could ride a bike and do a paper route, he had a job. Um, Summer jobs during school season. Once he was done with school and whatnot, he wanted to go into the highway patrol for Ohio State, but he found that somebody leaked out a I'm gonna try to say the right word, a statistic where they'll put, and this was kind of funny at the time, they were trying to put more African American people into the job force as a highway patrolman over white people, and I didn't think anything about it. I was just like, well, maybe it's something to do with equality or whatnot. I don't know, but my aunt, I love her to pieces, but she can be really, I mean, I don't want to say she can be racist, but sometimes her comments are just like, really, that just doesn't sound right. But Philip just got tired of waiting for his chance to join the academy, basically, and went into auto sales because this is the thing about Philip, and I love him to death for it. I mean, he's a great guy. Philip's got the personality that he wants to be of service and helpful at the same time. And I think that's what one of the things about him getting into the police force was the issue. Not the factor of his skin color, but because of his persona. Um, because not all policemen can be helpful. And sometimes when it comes to like the highway patrolmen and whatnot, politeness, kindness, and things like that sometimes get put on the wayside. And Philip's too bubbly and too smiley and too happy-go-lucky and too helpful for some kinds of jobs because some people look at that and go, he's going to spend too much time doing things for the public and not for what we want him to do. Well, his personality is great for auto sales. He is one of the top salesmen for, I guess, a certain district or certain area of Ohio. Um, he's an auto salesman for Hyundai, I think. It's not Honda. Is it Hyundai? It's one of those two makes. Um, I think it's Hyundai. Um, yeah, I think it's Hyundai. But he is one of the top salesmen in Ohio, or in his area at least. Creston, Ohio. Or is it in Worcester? I don't know. It's in that area around Worcester, Akron region. And they constantly tell me, yeah, every time somebody comes in, they're looking for Philip. How do they know Philip? Is it word of mouth? It's got to be word of mouth because Philip's not one to advertise. Um, but he's a good guy. I mean, I'm happy for him that he's found his niche in life. Um, Some people work better in that area. I don't. I have a hard time dealing with this stuff. I tried. I tried to be a Toyota dealer in New York. Mm, too intimidating. Now, um, New York is an aggressive place. I will say that much. I thought about trying to do it here, but the thing is in New York it was mostly by commission. You only got like peanuts for pay, hourly pay. The bulk of your income would have been commission. I couldn't make enough commission to last, so no. That in fact, when you got 20 people standing around looking for a customer to jump on, it's kind of like difficult. I would be more the type of person who would be like, "Hi, my name is Jim. So and so over here will be your salesperson." I would pass the person along, just because of the fact that I don't like being aggressive. I don't like being fast. I don't like being forced to do something or try to work faster or harder than my body and mind can handle. That's one of the reasons why situations like delicatessen or cashier or something like that is more my speed, because unless you've got a line of people behind the customer you're working with, you don't have to go fast. As a delicatessen worker, you don't want to go fast, because if you go too fast, you end up cutting yourself on a blade that is spinning at 60 RPMs and can slice your finger right off in a heartbeat. No, thank you. I don't want to go fast doing that. I'll finish this in a second. So, I did a lot of talking. I addressed what I wanted to address, but I'm going to rehash it for a second. What I say, no matter what it's about, like I said, I do my research. I don't just talk bull. I mean, if I wanted to talk bull and really wanted to put it on thick, a lot of times you probably wouldn't even know about it until it's too late. That, in fact, I learned through my dad. I learned through my own times. It don't get you nowhere. It might sound impressive. It might look impressive, but in the long run, it doesn't get you anywhere. It's useless. Two, I believe in freedom of speech. It is not only an American right, it's in our Constitution, but it's a God-given right. So if anyone wants to sit here and try to deter me from speaking my mind, you're going against not only the American Constitution, but you're going against God. And the long run of going against God is just, I don't wish it upon anybody. You read about it in the Bible. You've seen it in you think a flood is just a natural disaster? No, that's one of God's many ways of going, you goofed up. You built your home, your town, your whatever in the wrong place. The signs were out there for you to see. You ignored it because you thought you can hold back the floods, drain the swamps. No, not a smart idea. It's one of those things that I'll sit there and go, you have the right to say what you said and whatnot, but to tell me in the long run of your message and whatnot that I should have done better research, or I should do my research before saying anything, that's where I draw the line. I do my research. I know a lot about what Trump has done. The side that people want to ignore because they think he's a great person. Well, that's great. You think he's a great person. I don't. Am I putting down the American president? No. I'm putting down the man, not the seat, not the office. I've never put down the office. I put down the man. I respect the office. Doesn't mean I have to respect the man. In fact, when you get sworn into the military, one of the things that is in that oath is to defend the Constitution and defend the people from all powers, foreign or domestic. Trump is domestic. So I'm trying to defend my constitutional rights and the freedom of all American people. I'm not in the military. I didn't make it through basic training because of what do they call it? Shin splints and I'm trying to remember my discharge information. It was a medical discharge. It was an honorable medical discharge for medical issues that were that developed during training. So it's not that I flaked out of the military or I did something dishonorable to get myself discharged. It was a medical discharge. It is one of the more, I won't say popular methods of getting out of the military, but it is one of the more honorable means of being discharged. Anything other than anything outside of an honorable discharge, whether it's medical, personal, or something within your life or whatnot that basically lets the military go, okay, he can't handle it, or we need to let him go because of family issues or something reasonable. My father's discharge was retirement. That's the other method of getting out of the military that most people don't hackle you about. Anything like a dishonorable discharge or, basically dishonorable discharge period of any means. Sorry, something's sticking in my beard. I'm not even going to go there because, one, I don't know anybody who's ever been discharged dishonorably, and two, the stories I've heard about dishonorable discharges make me want to go, where is this person now? Is he in Leavenworth? Okay, well, he probably belongs there. But the thing is, before you start telling me what I should be doing or making judgments towards me, know this. One, most of your judgments are probably going to be based on what little you know about me or what little you know about where I get my information. And depending on the level of agitation that causes me, depends on whether I'm going to remove the comment. So far, since the last time I had to purge people because they were being really, really rude, I haven't had to ban, block, whatever, anybody. And I'm thankful for that because I don't like doing that. Because, like I said, I enjoy my freedom of speech as much as you probably enjoy your freedom of speech. I'm not worried about whose brother or whose family member, who's how you're connected to whomever. That's what I call 3 degrees of separation. I don't know your brother. I don't know your father. I don't know your uncle. I barely know you. That's not going to deter me from the comments. That's not going to deter me from what I have to say. It's not going to deter me from how I deal with your comments. I have friends and family members who have information about Trump. I've listened to their information, but since I don't know it directly, I'm not going to say that that's usable information. That's just information I have. Now, a lot of the information I have about Trump's dealings is public record. If it's public record, anybody can find it. So that's usable information. If you want to dispute or argue my comments or my vlog, pull up public information. Don't pull up your brother or your father or your uncle or your best friend's dog. That's not that's not information I can access. That's not information I can access. It's hearsay. Everything I've talked about, everything I've used as sources of information is public record. Now, if you want me to go and pull up that public record or that piece of information, I will be more than happy to try to transfer that information onto my comments. I might have to have Jerry help me, but I don't have that ability. For instance, I'm sorry for making this another long video, but it just all of a sudden kind of hit me. Now, I think this is a public record, but I'm not sure. There's a story. I'm not even going to talk about my family members who knew this guy. There's a story that Trump went to Scotland, tried to purchase parcels of land so he can build himself a golf course. One of the parcels of land was owned by a Scottish sheep farmer, and this parcel of land was in his family for centuries. Probably since back in Robert the Bruce's time, who knows. But Trump basically offered to give this man millions of dollars for this parcel of land. Well, the story goes that first off, the gentleman laughed at Trump because factor one, how do you put a price on a piece of property that's been in your family for generations? And I don't mean decades, I mean hundreds of years worth of family members who've been doing the same thing on this parcel of land for God knows how long. The story goes, when Trump persisted, the Scottish farmer basically told him to go F off. And probably a very colorful Scottish lingo. And when I heard about this story, I just kind of went, that's a Scotsman for you. That's a true Scotsman. I am pretty sure the other parcels of land that Trump did buy, if he actually bought them or not, were probably unused pieces of land for God knows how long, and there was no, either he went directly to the land broker or whatever and found out nobody owned them, and oh wait a minute, there's this one piece of land that the family still lives on and they still use it. Oh well, we'll see if I can buy it. That's one of the many different stories I've read about Trump. Now, those of you who want to dispute that story, if you can find argument against it, go for it. But I think my information was either in the New York Times or probably some foreign affair type piece of information from Scotland. I don't remember where I read it because this was some time ago. This is at least a minimum of 5 years ago. Probably a little bit more because I think it was before Hurricane Sandy. And Sandy was 2012, 2013. Because we moved out here by about 2013, 2014. But anyhow, my point is if you're going to rebuke or rebuttal or argue with my words or the knowledge that I have that I'm putting on here, come up with something other than your brother knew him. Come up with something other than a third-party argument. I don't do third-party arguments. If I don't know the information myself or can't get the information myself, I don't argue with it. I don't use my personal opinions or my personal knowledge or family history or anything like that to basically go up against something I'm not happy with. If you're happy with Trump, good for you. I'm not. I've seen and heard a lot of different things that had to do with Trump. One of them, practically everybody knows about, especially everybody on the East Coast. The Taj Mahal Casino on Atlantic Beach in New Jersey was the property, and the facility was built by Trump. It was one of Trump's many endeavors. Whatever happened, I don't know. Whatever caused Trump to pull away, I don't know. But it was owned and operated by Trump and his corporation. And it went to pot. And he ended up using that facility as one of the many reasons for claiming bankruptcy. When how does somebody with his money claim bankruptcy? That's in public records. Not only is it in public records, but everybody in the area and everybody who's ever dealt with that stuff knew about it. Oh, shoot. But anyhow, started out that way and ended that way. I didn't want to do that. Oh well, it is what it is. And it's getting late. I'm sorry for another long video. It happens when there's too much on my brain and not enough time. I know I'm probably going to get the same person rebuttaling. It's fine and dandy. I don't deny people the option to basically rebuttal. But it is what it is. I deal with it the way I have to. Anywho, another roller coaster ride through my brain. It's probably going to be this way for a while because there's so much going on. Preparing for Joanne's party is now high on the priority list of things to be done or things to deal with other than work. Yeah. Anyhow, if you like this video, this vlog, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I'll understand if some of you don't, because some people cannot handle the ride through my brain. Any questions or comments, go ahead and put them in the comment box. Preferably positive comments, but you know what? I'm not going to deny you the right to speak your piece about the video. I know I've had one or two people who made comments on this video that had nothing to do with any of my videos. Those particular people were either non-subscribers or they subscribed and unsubscribed just to be a pain in the butt. My final words before I finally sign off is there has been an issue with we call them troll clubs, and basically what they are, there's this one leader of the group who will become a member of anybody's videos, and they'll start a parade of negative comments. And we discovered those comments come in 30. We'll have one person come on, and then there will be 30 people who will match their thumbs down negative comment parade. And we found out who one of them was, and we banned that person from both of our channels. That does not mean it can't happen again, but when it does, I'll find them and I'll ban them. And YouTube has been basically kicking them off of YouTube. I just hope that doesn't happen. I know some of my thoughts, some of my feelings, some of my opinions rub people the wrong way. That's just part of being human. We all can't agree with each other all the time. And we all have our own opinions, our own feelings, and our own thoughts, basically. I don't deny that. In fact, sometimes some people's comments, whether they're positive or negative, because of it is their feelings, and it doesn't cause like a mob of people to join in on that negativity. But I read your comments, and whether I like them or not, that's up to me. I'm not going to basically deny you your opinions and thoughts. I just hope that we can come to some mutual understanding that this is how I feel towards any given thing, and you have your feelings towards that same thing, but they're not in sync with mine. That's fine and dandy. I don't want to be a leader of a group of mindless robots. I like the factor that even though I did not appreciate some of the comments on this one person's reply or whatever, but hey, you like Trump? I don't. That's fine and dandy. Anyhow, like I said, I will read those comments. Hopefully, I don't get a headache from reading some of the comments because I have my moments where it's just like, oh my God, really? I don't want to deal with that. But I don't remove it or delete it. I just come back to it at a different time or whatever when my mind is more at ease. But anyhow, if you're not a member and you watch this and you want to see more, go ahead and hit subscribe. A bell will pop up. You can hit that bell so YouTube lets you know when I put in new videos. Again, I'm sorry for the length of the video. It happens. Until next time, sorry, I don't want to itch my nose in front of you. Until next time, God bless, be safe, have a good day, and enjoy. Bye.